welcome to Under the Umbrella. I'm WDTN Plus meteorologist Melissa Barrington. And on this show, we do talk about anything and everything about the weather. And today we are joined by Chris Meister, who is the race director for the Air Force Marathon. And of course, this is a huge event going on in the Dayton area. It goes on every year. But my first question to you is, are you a marathon runner yourself? And have you run the race?
I am a marathon runner. I've run 2 marathons, like 13 half marathons, a bunch of other races. I've actually not had the opportunity to run the Air Force Marathon because of having the opportunity to help produce it.
Right, you're working it, right?
That's right, yeah.
Well, I'm not a runner, so you will not see me out at this, but more walking is more my speed for me. But can you tell us a little bit more history about the race? I see that it coincides with the birthday of the U.S. Air Force, and I assume that happens every year.
That's correct. Yeah, it was started as a celebration of the birthday of the United States Air Force in 1997, and we're going into our 29th year. So it's been going on ever since. So we have a wide variety of events that we produce that race weekend, and we're really excited about this year's event.
How many people are expected to be at the event this year?
So we'll have between 8,500 and 9,000 participants this year is what we're tracking for. Yeah.
Okay, and so what types of races do you have? You have more than just the marathon, right?
We do, yeah,
okay.
And that's something where we really are excited about giving the opportunity for lots of people to participate in our races. So we have everything from our 1K kids tailwind trot to our 5K, 10K, half marathon. We have a challenge series, a relay. So we like to say that there's something for everybody who wants to participate in our races.
Are the races only on Saturday race day, or are they throughout the weekend?
Yeah, we have them throughout the weekend. So Thursday kicks off our Health and Fitness Expo, but Friday kicks off our race series. So Friday evening is our 1K kids run. That kicks off at 6 o'clock on Saturday, September 19th. And then after that, our 5K takes place. And those are both at the Wright State University Nutter Center.
Okay, is there a time limit for folks to run these races?
There is. For the 5K, it's an hour and 30 minutes. And then for the marathon and half marathon, it's a 6 hour and 30 minute time limit. It's a 14:55 pace.
Okay. I was reading that there have actually been, you said that this started back in 1997, right? You've actually had some racers that have been there every single year.
Yeah,
how many people have done that? And how do you commemorate them?
Yeah, we have, those are our stars runners. So they've run the marathon distance in person every year. Except for the COVID years. And there's 22 of them. And
that's quite a few.
Yes, it is. And it's an amazing feat. And we try and honor them every year. There's a stars reception that we do for them and try and make sure that we honor their commitment to the race because it's really an incredible thing that they've done.
So did they get a front row spot?
They do. They get a little gift and some recognition and some other things. So but 29 years of running a marathon in a row is an amazing commitment to our event. It's very inspiring.
So for those that run this race, is this a pre-qualifier for any larger races?
It is, yeah. So a lot of people will use our race to qualify for like the Boston Marathon, for example, which is obviously kind of the gold standard of marathon running. And I think we have a good course to be able to do it, especially if you train appropriately. Then I think we have a good Boston Marathon qualifying course. Yeah.
So how should racers prepare before a race, whether they have kids that are running the race, which of course would be a little bit different for preparation versus your long distance runners? What are some things that people should be doing prior to the race?
Yeah, I think it really depends on where you are as a runner and kind of what your goals are too. For a marathon distance, I always recommend about 18 weeks. That seems to be what most training plans are for the marathon distance. But again, it depends. If you're going couch to marathon, it's probably going to be a little bit longer if you have a good base and maybe you don't really care about your time that much, which is totally acceptable. Then it might be a little bit shorter. But I always recommend about 18 weeks. Try and get a lot of miles and make it fun. I think that's the biggest thing when you're training.
So when you train for an event like this, do you do run eventually 26 miles?
That's right. Yeah. Most people will not do a training run that is that long, but again, it depends. There's lots of different theories and people practice in different ways. And I think that's a big part of it too, just figuring out what works for you.
And the weather, obviously, if you're talking 18 weeks of training, that is going to cover basically a huge variety. I mean, that's almost half a year of weather. And so how do folks adapt to the weather conditions of what they're going to see in September? I mean, it could be cold, it could be hot, it could be foggy, it could be rainy. I mean, what can people do to prepare for that?
Yeah, it can be really difficult. That's a really good point. It's in my opinion, I think it's really important to try and train in different conditions. Of course, where it's safe and appropriate to do so. But if you know, it can be easy to get in a habit of just training on the nice days, and that may not replicate the weather conditions. I think it's important to again, when it's safe, try and run in the rain and in the cold, and in different conditions around the same time of day that you'll be running, just to kind of get you in the habit of replicating what those race day conditions might be like.
So what are some of the storm protocols, especially lightning? What's in place for that? Will they pause the race? Will they get runners off the track or their course? You know, what do you do?
Yeah, it kind of depends on kind of when and where that those weather events are happening. So if it's something that happens before the race, then that gives us a little more opportunity to kind of control where people are. If it happens something during the race, we have emergency shelters along the course that we communicate constantly with the weather folks on base and our incident command team to make sure that we're keeping our participants safe. That's our number one goal in the whole thing is we want a good experience, and the biggest part of that is making sure our participants are safe.
So do you have to be a member of the military to run?
You do not. We have obviously a large military contingent in our race, but about 62% of our participants who have signed up for this year actually have identified as non-military.
Oh, so more that aren't part of the military versus, okay.
Yeah, and some portion of that 62% will be kind of military adjacent. They might be military spouses or sons, daughters, siblings, that kind of thing.
Right.
So have some affiliation to it, but as far as actual military members, that's about what our makeup is right now.
Do you have a race for walkers at all?
We do. So most of our distances are walker friendly. Like I mentioned, the marathon has a 14:55 per mile pace that you can hit, and that's a fast walk, obviously, but it is possible. So we do have people that will kind of run walk or walk the event. And then the 5K with the hour 30 time limit on that is walkable for sure.
That's plenty. Yeah. I don't think I would walk 26 miles myself. Yeah. I don't see myself doing that. But what makes this race special or different from other races in the country when people are going out trying to figure out, like which marathon do they want to try? Is it because of the medal, of what the medal looks like, or where it is? What makes this one special?
I think one of the biggest things that makes us special is that is the Air Force Marathon. So it represents the Air Force across the globe. We have participants from all 50 states, from multiple countries that'll come here to participate in this race, and we get to do it here in Dayton, which is amazing. There's only so many DoD races, and we get to be one of them, and we get to do it here. So having it in our market is amazing. I also think we have one of the best finish lines in running at the National Museum of the U.S. Air Force, run under the wings of the aircraft out there, and it's very picturesque, very exciting. We have a fun finish line festival, so it's a fun time.
What can people see when they're running the marathon?
So when they're running the marathon, there's lots of different things to see. So you start and finish at the National Museum of the U.S. Air Force. It'll take you on to base, so you'll get to see a lot of things, especially if you're non-military, that you may not see otherwise because it is on base for most of the race. And then it goes into Fairborn too for the marathon, and it's there's a committee there called the Fairborn Fly Zone, and they do an amazing job making it a party for the marathon runners. It's super exciting, very cool what they do there, and super fun to watch. Every year I hear from participants that that's their favorite part of the course. And then you come back onto base after Fairborn and back to the National Museum of the U.S. Air Force and finish there, and that's when the Finish Line Festival starts.
So how many volunteers does it take to put this entire event on?
Yeah, all in all, we have between 1,500 and 2,000 volunteers.
Wow, that's a lot to manage.
It is. Yeah, and we have, fortunately, a great team that helps do that, and a volunteer coordinator that is tasked with putting all those people in the right places, making sure they're trained, and have all the information that they need to be successful. And they're a big part of keeping our participants safe. Like we mentioned, when there's a weather event or something like that, a large portion of that is things like setting up and tearing down our expo, and also like water stations and stuff like that. But there's lots of volunteers. We couldn't do it without them.
That's a lot of people. And so you're talking about 2,000 volunteers, and then you're bringing in the rest of the people. That's a lot of people to have there for sure. When people are headed there, what time should people show up, like for the morning of the race, if they're running the main marathon, for example?
Yeah, on Saturday morning, the parking gates open at 4 at the National Museum of the U.S. Air Force. You can park there. We have free parking, which is a great asset of our event. You won't find that at a lot of races where you might have to park in a downtown area or in a parking garage or something like that. So that's a big asset that we have. And then there's also a shuttle that goes from the Wright State University Nutter Center. So you can park over there, be shuttled over to the start, and then shuttled back after the race. And those shuttles start at 3:30 a.m. And then go through 5:30 a.m.
So you even start before I'm on the air on Saturday morning.
It's a early day. Not a lot of sleep those days for us. Yeah,
it is definitely an early start, and lots of folks. How's traffic handled in that area?
We work really closely with security forces on base and local law enforcement to help manage traffic flow. It's obviously with people being able to park on site, it does cause, can cause some traffic congestion. So we always recommend participants get there early just to alleviate some of that and make sure they get parked and to the start line on time. But our partners with local law enforcement and the security forces at Wright Pat are amazing, and they do a great job helping us control that traffic flow.
Great. Well, we're going to take a quick pause here, and when we come back on Under the Umbrella, we are going to continue our conversation with Chris Meister, who is the race director of the U.S. Air Force Marathon. We'll be right back. Hello and welcome back to Under the Umbrella. I'm WDTN Plus meteorologist Melissa Barrington, and joining me today is race director of the U.S. Air Force Marathon, Chris Meister, and we've been talking about all different aspects of the race. In this half hour, let's start with what the hardware is that folks are getting from the race. I mean, that's kind of important to a lot of people. What's the shirt look like? What does the medal look like?
Yeah. I have a couple of things here to show. I'm going to try and get this up here. So what I'm holding here, the gold piece here is our overall awards that our first, second, third place winners will get. And it is also doubles as a medal stand. So this medal here is something that each participant will get. Obviously, this is for our relay participants there. And that's there's different ones for each event, but they all have the same design with our featured aircraft. And we think they turned out really nice. So we're really
heavy.
Excited. Yeah, very heavy. Yeah,
very heavy. It's nice. And then you have a shirt?
Yeah, I do.
I'm going to switch the camera.
Great. And
there
this is our half marathon shirt here. You can see again the featured aircraft there, and the 29th annual Air Force Marathon. It's the KC-135 Stratotanker is our featured aircraft. So we think these turned out really great. Quick look at the back with the date
nice.
and date. Yeah. So turned out really nice. We're really excited to hand these out to folks at the race in September.
You always know everyone who has volunteered or run that race, because people are everywhere around Dayton. You go to the grocery store after the race is over, and everybody's wearing the shirts.
Yeah. That's what we want. Yeah, that's what we want at the end of the day is something. We take a lot of pride in the design of our events, and that includes the medals and the shirts and things like that. So. We want people to wear them and be proud of what they've accomplished at our race. Now,
you mentioned that there is a featured aircraft. You said it's the Stratotanker.
Yeah.
So how do you guys pick which aircraft is going to be the pick one for the year? And can you tell me a little bit more about this one?
Of course, yeah. So we come up with basically a idea of a plan for some aircraft that we might want to feature, and we kind of run that up the chain through leadership to get things approved. But the goal of it is to feature different types of aircraft. That there's so many amazing things that the United States Air Force does. So we want to feature that whole breadth of what they do. So everything from fighters to the Stratotankers and things like that we have for this year, we want to feature all of it. So we have a flyover every year with the featured aircraft, and that's something that we're really excited about too.
So do you have a flyover at the start of the race then?
We do, yeah. At the start of the marathon and half marathon, so about 7:29 a.m. On Saturday, September 20th, the KC 135 Strato tanker will be flying over to kick off the race.
So what happens if the weather's bad and poor for flying? Like what if it's IFR conditions?
Yeah, that's obviously something that we hope doesn't happen.
Well,
but
right.
again, the constant contact with us and our key stakeholders on base. So that is something that we're tracking very heavily. So we're always in contact with them on the weather condition for the flyover and what that might look like. And obviously, if things come up and there have to be changes, that's something that they make us aware of, and we make those decisions when we have to. But we have great plans and protocols in places for being able to arrive at those decisions if it's necessary.
So I've actually spoken to a few of the guys at your Air Force Weather Service office, and this must be like a lot of pressure for them. Between that and the air show, must be two key events for them. This must be a lot of pressure.
Yeah, absolutely. We hope that it's the same thing that we tell kind of the medical folks, that we hope that this is a boring day for them.
Right.
That we hope they come out and they have to sit there and do basically nothing. But obviously that's not always the case. So I think one of the things that we do really well is that communication piece. So we're always talking with them. They're giving us updates, especially as it gets later in the day. If there's always a possibility of it getting warmer. So that communication piece between them is super important to make sure that we're tracking, what the weather is looking like, what the conditions are like in the surrounding area, so we're prepared for anything.
So what's your wish list of what the perfect or most ideal weather is for running the race? Which, it may or may not happen, but
yeah.
What's the wish list?
It's a cooler at the start, around 50 or so at the start. I think is kind of an ideal temperature. I want to be a little bit chilly at the start.
Yeah.
And then low humidity, and get up to maybe 72-ish in the afternoon is kind of a perfect condition, I think, for me.
And I assume the worst possible is rain.
Or
has it ever snowed? Have you ever seen any flakes?
Never, not in my experience.
Okay.
I've been very fortunate in my time, both as a runner and as a director, to have been minimally impacted from weather so far. So hope to continue that tradition, obviously, this year. But no snow so far.
Okay.
But
what about
things
fog?
change. Fog is definitely something that can happen, especially kind of earlier in the morning. So that's one of the big things in that we talk to when we talk to safety and our parking volunteers, and making sure that as people are coming into parking, that is obviously something that we're looking at. So making sure that our parking volunteers have the appropriate flashlights and things that they need, and communicating with participants and the cars coming in as well, to make sure that they're keeping our participants safe. So
a lot of races have gone virtually at times. So, like, say the weather's really bad that day and you're saying, I don't know if I want to go run this race. Can people do this race? First of all, can they do it virtually? And if the weather's really bad, can they switch it over to virtual?
So we do have people do participate virtually. Most of those folks are going to be not able to make it to Right Pat for a variety of reasons.
Right.
And we get a lot of people that have a Right Pat affiliation or some kind of relationship with the Air Force that makes them want to participate even if they can't be here. If something happens on race day, or if the weather is looking like something that maybe you're not comfortable participating on race day, we do have windows of deferral and things like that where people can switch distances. Last year, we were actually able to give people the opportunity to, because of the projected heat on the day of the race, to switch from the marathon to the half marathon. That was something that went over really well with the participants, and helped people not have to run in the heat so much if they weren't comfortable with it.
So what do folks have to do, like, during the race to stay hydrated, or what should they do the night before? Do you have any tips? Yeah,
I would say hydrate as much as possible. I think that's the key. And take one of the best pieces of advice that I received from a runner that I look up to was, as you're running a race, to take some sort of hydration, whether that's the electrolyte on the course or water, at pretty much every hydration station. Even if it's just a little bit, it'll help you get through, especially on the hotter days. As you're training, I think it's really important too to try and train with what you're going to experience on race day, sort of like we talked about with the weather, but just make sure that you're not trying new things on race day. I think that's a big key in success.
Can you tell me what is the Stratosphere Challenge and who can participate in that?
Yeah, the Stratosphere Challenge, it's a competition amongst teams of the Air Force and the Space Force. So it's active duty, reserve, or guard. And they participate in the half marathon and marathon. Teams are comprised of 5 members. It's mixed male and female. And they're built according to the information that they provide in their application. So it's a competition amongst some service members, and it's always really exciting, and they love to compete for it. So
is there a special award for them?
Yeah, we've done a special award in the past. Yeah.
Okay, and there's also something called the Blue Streak Time Trials. What is that?
Yeah, so one of the cool things with our team at the Air Force Marathon is we do lots of other events throughout the year as well. So Blue Streak Time Trial is our cycling event that we do. That's on base. That's a much smaller event than the Air Force Marathon. It's the second Tuesday of each month, April through October. It takes place at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base. Again, you do not have to be in the military to sign up. So we do get quite a few people that will sign up that are non-military, and very popular amongst competitive cyclists, but seen all kinds of different types of cyclists out at that event, from seeing people with trailers carrying their kids in it, and the bikes with the big wheels in the front and the little ones in all different kinds, and it's a lot of fun. It's always really exciting. So.
And can you tell me about, you've been doing this for a little while now, so what's one of the most memorable events that you've seen, or what sticks in your mind over the past few years? Yeah,
it's each race has its own special thing. I think last year, personally for me, my first as race director was something that I'll remember forever. It's really exciting, but every race is it's so inspirational to see people cross the finish line. That's my favorite part of any race, is knowing that these people have trained for 18 weeks, sometimes more, to be where they are and to cross the finish line is just really inspirational and really exciting.
So do you go and talk to some of these people to find out their stories of how they got there?
I try to, as many as I can. It's not always easy to get to everybody, but people will send us emails and messages and things with how excited they were and how happy they were to finish the race. And we always get a lot of those when we send out our post-event survey too, and it's always really exciting. That's my favorite part for sure.
It's getting the survey back and seeing what people said about the race.
Absolutely, yeah.
And then it's moving on to the following year.
Exactly, yeah. The planning never really stops.
No.
So there's already coordination for things for 2026, for example. It just is a never-ending cycle, but that's kind of what we love about it, and we take that feedback that we get really seriously and try and make improvements each year and really listen to participants.
So for folks that maybe have not signed up for this year, where can they go? How can they get started for maybe next year? Yeah,
so you can sign up for the marathon events through the expo, and the expo takes place on Thursday, September 18th and Friday, September 19th. If you go to our website, usafmarathon.com, you can register there for all of our events. The marathon distance is actually sold out right now. Keep an eye on it. There's been, as people kind of defer, and the spots will open up. But all the other events as of the time that we're speaking right now are open. So we encourage people to sign up. And then registration for next year will open on Cyber Monday.
Oh, okay. So that's coming up pretty soon. So folks have ample time to prepare for next year.
That's right, yeah.
Well, thank you very much, Chris, and thank you for watching Under the Umbrella. If you have an idea for another story or a topic that you may be interested in, be sure to email me at undertheumbrella@wdtn.com.